Islam, welcome to Blood on the Doorpost 3, our second half, returning to journalistic integrity. Thank you once again, Grand Sheik, for joining me on Blood on the Doorpost 3. This is a Moorish News Media 7 production. And as I mentioned, Grand Sheik, in leaving, you talked about the current pending actions in court by this administration, Moorish Science Temple of America, as a body politic. The world needs to know what's going on here in North America and how the indigenous people of this land is fighting for their rights every day, fighting the avalanche of lies by the media outlets who refuse to call the indigenous people by their name, therefore causing the great wrath of the great God Allah, the Father of this universe, to fall upon this nation. So before everything falls apart, Grand Sheik, can you please go into the current pending actions and what it is that the world needs to know, viewers need to understand and know what's going on with this administration, how hard the work has been put in for the past 10 years plus.
Islam, Sheikhs, let me set
Address
the stage.
the ledger.
Let me address it and begin like this. The Moorish Science Temple of America has been in and out of court, federal court and state court, for the past 10 years, fairly consistently. And what I find to be most disturbing is that you haven't had not one news report from the mainstream media. Not one. We've seen time and time again other organizations get recognized and mentioned, and they pick up on the story. But for the Moorish Science Temple of America, have you ever seen an article in a newspaper about the Moorish Science Temple of America suing the city of Chicago, about the Moorish Science Temple of America suing Cook County, about the Moorish Science Temple of America suing the state of Illinois? And we're going to go into the reasons as to why each and every one of those entities have been sued. But what's really disturbing is that you have never seen any evidence of this within the mainstream media, not in print media or in televised media. Okay, so let's start with the city of Chicago.
Why would it be necessary for the Moorish Science Temple of America to sue the city of Chicago?
Well, this is a situation that is worthy of a show all by itself. And recall the time, Sheikhs, when we were stopped and actually the windows was busted out of the vehicles that we were traveling in. This yourself 2 times and myself once.
I do.
And there was a lawsuit this was a lawsuit filed against the city of Chicago back in 2010. All right? Now, the reason why these lawsuits were filed was because we were in danger of our lives. My situation, particularly, I was forced to keep my hands on the steering wheel while 8 individuals had guns on me, trained on me. So that means that if I did anything to move and make any jerk, it could have been ended tragically.
This was a traffic stop, is that right?
This was a traffic stop, and I had to actually literally listen to my higher self, which informed me to not follow the orders of what they were saying. They were telling me, screaming, put your hands on the steering wheel, put the car in park. That's as far as I went. And then my higher self said, keep your hands on the steering wheel, and that's exactly what I did. They had to bust the car windows out to drag me out. And this was a traffic stop. This was nothing where we created any situation or crime. This was just a morbid, bizarre traffic stop.
And the suit was
And the lawsuit was filed in federal court against the city of Chicago. The lawsuit went on for 1.5 years before they came up with some clever way to dismiss, as they often do, find a statutory, some type of statute that puts them in a situation where they can say, oh, well, because you didn't have an attorney or because you didn't do it the way we were trained to do it, we're going to dismiss
So
your
that
case.
was the city of Chicago.
The city of Chicago.
So
sued.
what was the county? The
county of Cook was sued as a result of them utilizing blocking statutes to allow us to have access to our trust and everything that's related to it.
So the county of Cook was blocking
the county of Cook, let me explain.
access.
The county of Cook was overstepping their boundaries. They were creating statutes, and as the years went on, they became more and more stringent. So they created a fraud department. I believe that when we first began to do business with the county of Cook, Eugene Moore was in office.
The recorder.
And he was not as stringent statutorily.
No, he met with us actually on several occasions.
We had a better rapport with Mr. Eugene Moore.
I recall.
As a result of his position. And I believe he retired. I'm not sure what occurred, how he left office, but his replacement, who has a history of being a legislator, came in with a slew of different
Karen
policies.
Yarbrough.
Correct.
Yes, she brought with her from that
current
previous
clerk
job.
of the county.
I
Correct.
do recall.
So,
and she refused also to meet with us, I recall as well. She stayed so very busy.
well, it seems as if her administration were acting on the narratives of COINTELPRO. And so it was that administration that caused the most rifts
Corruption.
as far as, and it was also that administration that was seemingly the most corrupt. I mean, she was there hiring her cronies and all that.
So basically, the county was sued, Grand Sheik, for refusing to allow our members to be indexed up under the trust properly through
there's
the
a
indexing
whole
department.
Like I said,
In
we
addition,
could do a whole show on each entity and why they're being sued. So
what about the state of Illinois? Okay, finish
well,
with the county.
This is a connection. The state and the county are kind of connected together because when we go back to 2017, we had a lawsuit where they were both parties. It was the state and the county. All right.
Yes, it was,
now,
in fact.
The reason why the state becomes a problem, now get this is very interesting. The Secretary of State of Illinois claims that they will only recognize the Moorish Science Temple of America as a general not-for-profit.
I recall that.
And sent us over across the street saying, actually it was Cook County that sent us to the Secretary of State.
So the state had to be sued.
And then it was the Secretary of State that said, well, the only way you're going to solve this is to sue us. So they basically asked or begged us to sue them. Which is what we
and the
consequently
county
did.
James Gleafy, counsel.
Well, Gleafy was legal counsel for Cook County. He is not the one that would deal with litigation. But
Grand Sheik, I need to ask, you're absolutely correct. What came out of those three suits? What have you resolved? Because people want to know.
Well, actually, there have been several suits against all three of those entities, not just one suit. This has been a consistent effort from the point of time when we were pulled over by the city of Chicago up until now. The idea was to expose the devil and he will flee. So expose all of the corrupt things that these particular body politics were involved in against another body politic.
So the right to travel turned into a birthright fight, as I recall.
Which is the city of Chicago. It's the suit that was filed against the city of Chicago.
Absolutely.
Now, to take us back, this was a suit that was filed in federal court. And that course had ran from 2005, I believe, up to 2015. So there's a 10-year history of the Moorish Science Temple of America suing within federal court, within the Seventh Circuit, within Illinois. So there's a whole track record, and there's enough information where you can write several volumes of books with regards to the paperwork that has been collected with regards to the suits that's being filed in federal court. Now, mind you, the defendants in many of these suits have been chiefly the state of Illinois and the county of Cook, not so much as the city of Chicago. But moving along, it became necessary to include them in several suits within the federal jurisdiction. And we have something, and I think we're going to have to come back to that, where the Moorish Science Temple of America is the only entity that's been added to the restricted filers list, and not deservingly so. This is
Federal
because
court.
the Moorish Science Temple of America has been fighting as a plaintiff on behalf of the members, the rights of the members.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and not to mention that a lot of the judges were basically not even giving the temple the benefit of the doubt, you know, and I noticed, Grand Sheik, that a lot of the judges, there is one suit where you probably would sue 10, 11 judges?
Correct.
We could go
This
into
is
that a
federal.
little later,
This is
but I
federal
want to
court.
talk about, Grand Sheik, probating the estate of Drew Ali on behalf of all the Eels and Bays. And how are the members reacting to this work? Because from the research that has been done by the Moorish Science Temple of America as a body politic, the temple has been funding all of its lawsuits, all of its work, without the knowledge and assistance of the members. How are you managing all of this? And what is, with Drew Ali's estate that's being probated today for all of the Moors, what are the members saying? How is this coming across to the members, Grand Sheik?
Islam. There has basically been, like I said, this goes back to the media block. And there's been a situation where the members have not been aware, or even if they have not been acting upon the facts. Now, we have been in the trenches for well over 10 years on social media, within YouTube, explaining to the people how the Prophet Noble Drew Ali left us a trust. But it's been a backlash because of certain operatives that's been released on our people through COINTELPRO. So you have a situation where you have a lot of our people that you have real Moors and you have fake Moors, all right? So unfortunately, this has been overlooked by majority of the Moors. We've had this information out here for years, so we know that many of the other Moorish leaders have been made aware. But the problem is most of our people have chosen to ignore. This goes back to the speech where the Prophet stated that they thought that he was a joke and unreal. So there's certain things that had to be done within the court system to open this thing up. And as far as probating the estate of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, let's look at how this actually would take place with anybody of such stature. And so this is part of the reason why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, when he created this, he compiled this, he made sure certain things were in here, like the title deed
Holy
to
Koran,
the land,
Circle
the
7,
Holy Koran,
Islam.
and all of the instruments that he gave us, the Circle 7 Koran, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, the 101s, which has the document 1010-5905 on the back of it, all constitutes trust. It's a trust package.
So that pending ledger that you're referring to, Grand Sheik, that talks about the trust ledger and the trust property.
Well, there's a
The
probate
pending
case.
actions in court is talking about that. Where
two-
are you right now?
There are two cases
for the
there.
members
Islam.
to give them an idea of where you are right now, because
Islam.
I'm sure they want to know, the members.
Islam. There are currently two pending cases. One of the cases is in Chancery Court, and the other case is in probate court.
And what do you want the members to know about these cases and what they could do to, email you or call you, how they can,
For
what do you
all
want
of the
them to know
members,
about this?
for all of the existing members, if you are ill or bay, and this is including the leadership, if at any time you have been issued a nationality card and you have not been conferred to your birthrights, you have not been assigned any land, there's no camping ground, there's no burial ground, there are no schools, then there has been a fraud that's been perpetuated against you. Because when the nationality card is issued, there are birthrights that is listed within said card, correct? Those birthrights are supposed to be accessible upon you receiving said card. Because you made the choice to proclaim your nationality. This is the reason why the Prophet Noble Ali is the founder, said, if you do nothing else, proclaim your nationality, because it's just like, it's almost akin to winning a lottery. But it's not a lottery because it's through your legacy, it's through your birthrights, it's through who you come from, it's through who originally gave you permission to be here.
So the door is open, actually, what you're saying, for any Grand Sheik to email
Members,
you, to call you, members,
supporting the
to
temples,
come up under that
Grand
trust.
Sheiks, you need
Grand
to
Sheik Loville,
Islam.
can you answer the question? The Cook County Recorder of Deeds Registrar of Torrance title, the merger into the clerk of the county. Can you talk about? We talked a little bit about that merger.
Islam. On
What does that
December
merger
7th,
mean for the members
Islam.
that are to be indexed up
Islam.
under
As
the
of
registry system, Torrance Registry? What does
Islam.
that merger mean today for members in the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Islam. As of December 7th, 2020, the Cook County Recorder of Deeds / Registrar of Torrance titles ceased to exist. And there was a merger with said offices, with the county clerk, with the clerk of the county. All right, it's Karen Yarbrough, who was actually replaced by an individual named Edward Moody before it pretty much was just blipped off the scene. So the recorder's aspect of the duties of the recorder has been absorbed by a different office. So that means that you can still go to the website of the clerk of the county to access the same information for all trust properties. They have the same feature in place where you can type in the trust and you type in the number and everything that's indexed under that trust pops up.
So that's the clerk of the county.
What occurs is whenever you file a document within Cook County, there's a number that's assigned to that document. And from that number, we can assign certain digits designated to each and every particular nationality card.
That's
and
member,
it shows
per
for the
member.
basic member. And it shows a connection and a nexus to the Moorish Science Temple of America. So it's just like when you're walking around, your nationality card represents the sanctuary. That is the blood on the doorpost that protects you.
That is the blood.
And so that it is noted, duly noted, that you are of a particular status.
Islam, the Prophet also mentioned, I'm so happy you mentioned that, that your nationality card will change in your pocket. I like to ask, and I'm sure the members and viewers would like to know, Grand Sheik, creating that access to the Torrance Registry through the Chancery Court in Cook County. What are you doing to actually set that up? Because we understand how the Cook County Recorder, State of Illinois, how things just faded. Karen Yarbrough's office faded, the State of Illinois. The Cook County Recorder of Deeds office is still actively indexing people through that Torrance Register. What are you doing about indexing the new members? Because members, the way the Prophet set the movement up, members are to be indexed that is the blood on the doorpost, being indexed up
Well,
under the Torrance registry system as well for protection.
Sheikhs, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We had to break down and interpret a lot of this information
Okay.
as it relates to the trust.
Well,
So,
let's talk about the registry. Let's keep it on that question, creating access to Torrance registry through Chancery Court in Cook County. How are you going to go about doing that,
well,
Grand Sheik, for
we
the
have
numbers?
this is why
Access.
we're holding this, because we have the receipts to prove that the case has been opened. And so what occurs is when you open up a case, you have to move the court within that case to get certain things done. And we're in the process of putting the documentation on the record as it relates to the trust and designating our members having the proper designation when they're indexed under that trust.
So is
So
it
the
true?
Religious Corporation Act says that all of those who have the powers and duties similar to that of a trustee, which are the sheiks and the sheikses,
Absolutely.
the successors, being that we have went through the process to succeed the Prophet Noble Ali, that's a legal process that had to occur for that to
Yes.
take place. So since that has been done, all of the property owning to the religious corporation or owning to the religious society, the body politic, is under the care, custody, and control of this administration because of the fact that we went through the proper channels to get them to admit to the fact that we are in fact indeed a body politic.
And you have a document. I see you have your documents on the table that it
So
was
this
a
is
fact.
a probate and this is a chancery case that's open. So when it
So those
says
are
in our
two
lessons,
separate
law
cases.
governs all events, correct. Because
Absolutely.
the probate piece deals with the estate, which is the land that's held in trust. When you go into the Holy Koran, Circle 7, your deed is left in chapter 47. So
Absolutely.
it reads with the meets and bounds description. Let me read to demonstrate that. This is chapter 47, and I'm going to start in verse 6. It says, the Moabites from the land of Moab who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa. They were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and habitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa, across the great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. See, this is the part that shows you that it was held in trust. This is the part where you see there was the transference came from the permission. And this goes back tens of thousands of years. So the question really becomes, well, who are these Johnny-come-latelys? Who are these squatters that believe that they could stay here without permission? So these are the type of things that have to be addressed in the court of law. And this is part of the reason why these great annual avalanche of lies have been allowed to persist, because the last thing that the foes and the enemies of man and Allah wants to do is for us to figure out and acknowledge the true power that we have as far as the status and as it relates to us not being Negroes, colored folks, black people, Ethiopians, but being Moorish Americans and being tied to the land. So when you take out your nationality card, that means that the whole world recognizes the fact that you received permission all of those years ago. So this is part of the reason why our people have to proclaim their nationality, so they can be able to trace themselves
Thank you
back
so much,
to
Grand
remove
Sheik.
the false narrative of racism, because
Absolutely.
actually it's an identity crisis that our people is facing.
So, Grand Sheik, is it true you wrote that each nationality and identification card is to be assigned a number,
And numbers that can be looked up within the system.
index up under the trust?
A number that can be looked up within the system. The same way you can take your phone and go to the Cook County not the recorded deeds anymore, but the Cook County clerk
Right.
to look up the documentation, to trace it and see And this can be done by law enforcement in real time or in whatever situation that may arise.
Well, Grand Sheik, I'm so grateful that you came out to share that information, and Moorish Law Services, that brainchild, has been protection for many Moors, and it has been protection for the temple. The prophet did say, protect I, your prophet, and the temple, and you have, in fact, brought about that Moorish Law Services. It has done a lot of great work. I'd like to salute you on that, Grand Sheik. And with this short period of time I have left, I'd just like for you to give a good word to the members out there. I get about 5 seconds. Can you say something to the members?
I understand that there are a lot of gurus that you hear about, but none of them have the receipts that we're producing today. So please don't get caught up with the personality worship. Do the knowledge, do the research, and figure it out for yourself. Be what you know and not what you've been told.
Absolutely, what you've been told. Islam, Grand Sheik. Islam, thank you all for joining us. We love you with a love that will never die. And I want to say something to the men out there, our strong men. I think that our strong men should be uplifted. You know, we uplift our men, but it's time, sisters, to usher in that love and push that support out to our men, because we have some strong men that are standing up, and those strong shoulders are carrying a nation. I want to say to the strong men, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye land. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that have made us and not we ourselves. We are his children and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and to his courts with prayer. Be thankful unto him. Bless his name, for the great God Allah is good. The Lord is good. His blessings is everlasting. And his truth endureth through all generations. Hotep to our brothers out there. Hotep to all of our sisters out there. Hotep to the children and the nation. Keep uplifting one another. Keep on loving each other. The call for nationality is on. You heard it from Moorish News 7. Blood on the Doorpost. Moorish News Media 7 will return with more information. I hope you enjoyed this show. Thank you once again, Grand Sheik Love Ill, Moorish Science Temple of America, as a body politic. Peace. Yes.
On this particular day, a waiter walked up to me. I'll take your order, he say. Let me recommend our special.